Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome to another edition of Down the Rabbit Hole as I talk about the astrological transits for the week. I am the spiritual bodybuilder, and thank you for joining me. Wow, what a week this is. A lot of stuff going on in the cosmos, a lot of change. And before I really get into the energy, I just want to say thank you for everyone that has been supporting me and following me through this journey. I'm really grateful to be able to get this information out, and your support has been truly appreciated. I'm very, very grateful, and I will continue to push forward and channel this information. I find the more that I do it, the better I get at it, the more comfortable I become. Because just the idea of channeling, to the normal everyday person is kind of weird. Like it doesn't make sense to me. It's just a flow state. Right? It's just getting into that place where you're letting it flow and not being blocked and you're centered. And whatever comes out, comes out. Half the time I don't even remember what it is that I said. And so I know that everyone that tunes into this is probably, a channeler as well. And there's a lot more people coming out with that information and these gifts, these skills, these, our DNA is being unlocked and our vibration is raising at such a fast rate. The human resonance is peaking. So the human, the human body or the human consciousness vibrates between 0.5 and 40 hertz. And right now the human's resonance is peaking right around 40 hertz. So, I mean, we're like being tested at the brink of what our bodies and what our energetic electromagnetic frequency can handle. It's big time. A lot of stuff from many past lives and ancient times of civilizations is coming around, and it's awakening a lot of people. So if you're resonating with this, thank you for joining me, and I appreciate you guys very much. So what is significant about this week? Well, I'm sure that you guys have been feeling the energy of Mars opposed Jupiter. That being Mars being in Gemini, Jupiter being retrograde in Sagittarius, all about communication, right? Mostly though, communication within ourselves. It can bring this frustrating irritability about our belief systems, about what we want, about our desires, true desires, right? And that can feel really, really weird and very uncomfortable. And that'll also bring up with the other astrological transits are bringing up a lot of emotional stuff that we haven't dealt with yet, that we may have thought that we already dealt with, right? And that is just, it can be extremely frustrating because we thought we already dealt with it. It's like we keep going around in circles. Like, what, again? I thought I already took care of this, man. What gives? All right, but it's literally like, and it seems that it keeps coming up that we're just activating the deepest parts of consciousness, but there's always more, right? There's always a level. There's always a deeper aspect that we probably don't even realize is there, because as we dig deeper, it opens up more, right? It's like the carrot and the stick. It's ever evolving. And this Mars opposed Jupiter is pressing up against that bubble that we have, and really, man, it's pushing us to our limits, and it's limits that we thought that we already faced and worked through. Okay, so this is going to be a time to really listen to your body. If you're feeling super emotional, don't try to suppress it, because if you suppress it, it's just going to come back 10 times stronger and harder here in the next few months. And we already got enough going on. So if you need to cry, if you need to take a day off from the gym, if you need to, if you need to eat more food, eat less food, do what you feel that your body is needing at that moment, and try to sit in it, try to get comfortable with the discomfort, even though it's basically been uncomfortable for months now. There's just been no break in this energy. But this is that Capricornian energy where Saturn and Pluto are. They're demanding that we step into our power, right? And speaking of Saturn and Capricorn, that's about to go retrograde tomorrow. And when any planet is stationary, it is at its strongest energy, right? Now, when it goes retrograde, if you have Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, then this is actually going to be a little bit easier on you. Now, I have Saturn retrograde in my natal chart. So I find that it's almost like there's this pressure, there's this energetic pressure on us when Saturn is direct to grow, to learn, to move forward. And when Saturn goes retrograde, it's like, okay, now we've gotten that push as far as it's going to go, right? In the degrees that it's at. Now we're going to go back over it and process it. And this is going to be all about structure. Really what I'm feeling is more emotional structure than anything, okay? With all this emotional stuff coming up with the let's not be martyrs either. With the Mars-Jupiter opposition, it's bringing up these belief systems, and then there's Saturn to structure these belief systems, to look at them and say, all right, let's see, what is helping me grow? What belief systems are there to supply a better life for me? And what belief systems are self-limiting? And why do I have these belief systems that are limiting me? Now, if you're open and you're, growth oriented, then you're going to go through this and you're going to be okay. It's going to be scary. It's like getting ready to go down the long descent on a roller coaster. You're just going to let go and surrender to it, right? But if you're holding on and you're trying to analyze every little thing, and you're just, this could make you feel like you're just all over the place if you're resisting. Okay, like be able to sleep. It's going to drive you a little, wacky. So surrender, meditation, keeping your body, your vessel clear and clean and balanced the best that you can. Okay, it's going to be really important. And so we have Saturn about to go retrograde. Pluto already went retrograde last week, and we have Jupiter retrograde. So all these are all energies of our subconscious, of the deeper aspects of our energy, of our soul, that brings us through the ascension process at the soul level. These three planets together are, the ground was quaking for the last 6 months. Now the ground's not quaking anymore. Now it's time to recover. Now it's time to solidify. Now it's time to heal. And as long as we've been doing the work, you have to do the work. If you haven't done the work, this time frame is going to suck for you. Okay. So if you've been doing the work, it's going to come along. It's going to mold into that higher frequency. It's going to solidify itself. All right. And then, the last quarter of this year is when it's going to be solidified, that we can get up and start going again to that next level when we hit that big ass conjunction in January 2020 with all these planets. There's a couple asteroids too. There's Ceres, Saturn, South Node, Pluto, and Jupiter, all going to be in Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn sun. Man, that's a lot of energy that we're needing to let go of. And this is all this is little stuff. Next year is going to be when things like, all right, now it's time to really step up. It's sort of like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Avengers Endgame, but I'm going to spoil just a little bit of it for you because it's extremely relevant. Okay, that movie was fucking amazing, by the way. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But at the very end, all the good guys and all the bad guys are battling them out, and Captain America ends up getting Thor's hammer. He was worthy, and he starts beating the shit out of Thanos. All right, now of course it didn't last, but it's like his vibration, like when he was put into that stressful position where it's either die or kick this guy's ass, his soul just rose up to the occasion, and he was imbued with this power, with this massive amount of powerful energy. And it just, this light just started beaming out of him, right? That's what we have going on here. We have opportunities to take on this power and to get it beaming out of us and to step up into that light space, that place that we're meant to be. And those dark forces, man, there's like 99% to the 100%. It's that 1% difference where that dark force is right there and it's almost going to win, but very last second, bam. We have to be willing to die for it. We have to be willing to go all the way. If we're not willing to go all the way, then the dark forces are going to overcome, and we're going to have to start all over. Okay, so 100%, make it happen. And this is all being done through love. All right, self-love. This is facing these fears, these dark forces. It's forcing us to learn to love ourselves and face that darkness, not to fight it, but to integrate it. All right, we need to face that deep down darkness with love, and that's what Saturn is trying to teach us. All right, because love is the strongest vibration in this universe, and when we learn how to use it and absorb it within our being and use it for good, that's the most powerful force. That's what every single superhero story is about. Taking that love, taking that desire to improve humanity, taking that, the knowing that you have something special and sharing it with the world. That is really the purpose of life, in my opinion. So during this week also, Venus will be square the nodes. Okay, so that is going to bring up a lot of stuff about self-love, about our worthiness when it comes to finances, with money, with identifying like what it is that we really do love, what it is that we really do want in this life. Okay, and I'm actually a fan of squares, probably because I have a lot in my chart, and I've learned to understand how they work. It's designed, that aspect is designed to create attention so that you can see it, work through it, and then rise above all the darkness, really. Okay, and Venus it can be a beautiful energy, but the shadow side of Venus is all like insecurity, unworthiness, fear, right? And with it being in Aries, it's pretty much flying through Aries now. That's all about who we are, our identity, who the self is. Okay, so we're dealing with these issues in regards to our identity and what we're worth, and whatever fears or self-limiting beliefs come up about patterns that we've had in the past, and our dreams of what we want to execute in the future, and bridging the gap. What is it that we have to see in order to be able to move through that, right? Also this week, we have Jupiter square Neptune. That's going to be a long transit. That's going to be going on for pretty much most of the year. Okay, so Jupiter in its home sign, Neptune in its home sign. Beliefs, growth, expansion, dissolving reality, oneness, and Pisces can also represent addiction. Okay, so do we have self-limiting beliefs that make us want to escape with addiction, right? Or are we going to take that discomfort and identify these beliefs? And this goes along with the whole Mars opposed Jupiter thing too, right? They're all working together. And when that stuff comes up, we can either escape, and that feeling, that desire for escapes can be really strong right now. Okay, so whenever I get to the point where I want to escape now, I just meditate. I throw on some binaural beats, take some deep breaths, burn some Palo Santo or some sage. And if I can do anything else at the time too, I'll do that. That's beneficial for my energy and my body. All right, super important. Eating clean, eating good quality, healthy foods that will work with your vibration. I'm telling you, I ate a little tiny bit of junk food the other day, and I felt like complete crap. It completely just, it like sucked the energy right out of me, and it took like a day for me to get back. Right? No good. So this Jupiter square Neptune energy is really going to be getting us out of our comfort zone with our belief systems, and it's changing everything. It's changing, so we can't fight it. This process is not going away anytime soon, guys. Okay, so we need to surrender. It's simultaneous surrender and pushing forward at the same time. All right, now that sounds like a contradiction, but it's just a different way of dealing with conflict. When we come up to a situation that we feel resistance, right? We feel conflict, and we may be not like conflict, or we may like conflict too much. But when we switch our perspective, really all we need is a perspective shift. Okay, so when we embrace conflict like a learning lesson and realize that this person, this situation, this thing, this feeling is only there to teach us, then we're able to dissolve that resistance and step into it through surrender. And identifying and feeling the state of surrender versus state of giving up is really important. All right. And this also brings up the idea of, desire versus thirst. Okay. What is the difference between desire and thirst? Because, they can be construed as the same thing. But desire is a higher vibration. Thirst is attachment. Okay. Desire is bringing things into alignment. Thirst is creating misalignment through attachment. All right. So if we're thirsty for money, okay, we may want to hustle and grind and do all this stuff, but hustling and grinding is it's motivation. It's not inspiration. So it's going to wear us out. Right. The whole idea of competition, of motivation, of beast mode, it's obsolete, dude. It's not, that is not where we're going in the future. It's about love. It's about surrender. It's about desire, healthy desire. It's about understanding the difference between surrender and giving up, because surrender is not giving up. Surrender is letting go of expectation. And it's that expectation that has attachment attached to it, right? And that's and that just holds us down. No bueno. So this Saturn retrograde, it's going to be the strongest right around now, like for the next week. And of course, when it gets ready to go direct. But really start, like, as the energy comes in and it settles in, it's going to bring in tests. All right, it's going to test us to see how much we've learned. It's going to bring in situations that we've experienced previously, and it's going to give us the choice, an option. Are we going to respond the same way, or are we going to take a step back and respond in a new way? Right? Because if we respond in a new way, it'll create a different result. So things from the past, issues that have not been fully dealt with, or, scenarios in which, maybe in a way you might crave, like, of the old version of you that is gone now. The new version of you is going to be tested, like, okay, this situation is going to come in. Are you going to, like, say, for example, like an ex comes back in your life, right? You guys broke up for a reason. Are you going to, and maybe when you were together before, you guys would get together and then break up, get together and break up. You see each other, you'd hook up, and then, it'd be like, okay, it's weird again, right? They might come back in and you have the opportunity. Okay, am I going to feed this? Am I going to feed this thirst? Or what do I really desire? Do I really desire this person? Do I want to be with them? If so, how can we do this different to create a better outcome? Right? So maybe you want to sit down and talk, or when everything starts getting hot and heavy, you step back like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, let's talk about this. So we want to be able to take a step back and watch ourselves, like observe ourselves as we're in the process of doing it. And like, look, we both want a positive outcome. So let's control our impulses, and let's really look at this, because you're coming back maybe because you're feeling lonely, like something didn't work out, or you had a realization that maybe you were wrong about something. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's be purely, truly, brutally honest with each other, right? Oh yeah, what's up, Chaos Theory? Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And Dustin Brad and MJD, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Hey, what's up, girl? I'm grateful for you guys tuning in. Thank you. Yeah, so as these situations come back in, okay, take a step back, surrender. Okay, those impulses are going to come up. Breathe through it, let it go through you, and then address it from an authentic place within your heart. And just, we cannot feed those old impulses. Those are coming back around to be dissolved. Okay, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, guys. All right, but you have to get comfortable in the discomfort. Okay, we can do this. All right. So also, Pluto, Saturn, and the South Node are going to be sextile Neptune, which is definitely a good energy. So we have the structure working with the disillusion. Okay, so those energies right there, they're very opposite, but they're sextile, so they're complementary opposites. Right. So that is the energy that's going to help us understand the difference between surrender and giving up. right? The difference between desire and thirst. And that's very powerful, especially right now with all this, with Pluto, Saturn, and well, South Node, of course, all retrograde. It's going to be very internal. Okay, so it's going to be screaming at us within. It's going to be very introspective. Like, all right, you need to really look at this. It's going to be right there. Okay, so it's going to be difficult to ignore it. I mean, it's going to be hard to resist, right? Which is going to be a good thing. Thank God. So we want to make sure that we go with it and we stay the course and we stay true to ourselves. And every little victory, every time that we do that, it's going to be like a celebration or a head, like, yeah, we did it, we got it. And letting go of the expectation or the outcome, right? Because expectations is part of that thirst. It's part of that craving that we don't want to feed. Pluto is conjunct the South Node. Pluto, Saturn, and South Node are conjunct, and they're sextile to Neptune, right? Yeah. Okay. So these are all like the big major aspects going on right now. I haven't gotten into the moon or the quicker planets. All right. But another big thing that we have going on, of course, is the new moon in Taurus on the 4th. So this is a very auspicious new moon. It's not anywhere close to Uranus, so we're not really going to have that unexpected energy. Okay. And this is like a new beginning for us as far as getting infused with the energy of self-worth, getting infused with the energy of knowingness of our purpose. We're about to be imbued with clarity. And I'm really, really excited for that because Lord knows, we could all use it, right? So for the new moon, we have Jupiter trine Mercury and Venus. I mean, that's just beautiful. Okay. Of course, Mercury and Venus, those are the more conscious energies, right? So we have the outer planets are the more subconscious mind. They're the deeper aspects of our soul. Then we have the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and you can say the sun and moon, I guess, are in there too. All right. But those energies are more like, Mercury is our conscious thought process. Venus is how we feel on the surface, really, about love and about money and about self-worth. So with Jupiter trine these energies, it's connecting the subconscious to the conscious mind. So that's going to bring up clarity, bring up aha moments, bring up awareness as we're going through these other aspects and giving us help to really make good quality decisions. Okay. And when we feel that feeling like it feels right, that feeling is going to be strong. It's going to reinforce the development of these choices that we make. All right. So that's going to be incredibly beneficial. But again, we have to use it. We have to look for it. We have to be aware and pay attention to it. Okay. We also have Saturn trine the sun and moon, which you could say loosely Pluto and the South Node is too. So with Saturn retrograde trine the sun and moon, again, that's the structure, the emotional structure. So more clarity. All right, more. I really feel like this is actually going to really bump up our intuition too, like our empathic nature, because Saturn, the higher vibration of Saturn is all about discipline, integrity, doing the right thing, being a true leader like Martin Luther King and, Jesus was a Capricorn. So I'm a Capricorn. We're ruled by Saturn. And when you master that energy, it is the most in tune. It's the healer of healers, right? So that energy, the healer of healers, the Christ consciousness in our heart is really coming through. And we're having an opportunity to really identify the different aspects of our higher consciousness that is trying to come up and come through. But if we suppress it, it's like a little bit of suppression is going to throw it on the ground and step on our face, right? All right, Cap rising. So you're really, really feeling this. That's in your identity. Mine's in my 9th house. So I got a lot of belief system stuff going on there. Mixed in with my career stuff, right? So we also have Neptune sextile the sun and moon during this new moon. So really we have a grand trine going on here, which is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm so pumped about this energy, because that, again, more intuition, more clarity, more like overcoming addictions, overcoming depression, overcoming anxiety. All right, but first it's going to come up, and it's going to come out, right? So that's going to be a big deal. Now, Lilith is going to be square the sun and moon. So Lilith is that almost manipulative kind of energy that we all have within us, right? So that's what we got to watch out for. That's going to be like the angel and the demon on our shoulders, and now in comparison, Lilith, the energy of Lilith is going to be very minor, okay? But if you put yourself in, you're going to be invited to be put in certain circumstances where it's going to test you. That Lilith energy is the testing energy. Okay. And if we go into those experiences, then we're going to learn some really tough lessons. Okay. So it's about identifying, you know, is this decision going to be good for me, or is it going to be bad for me? And if we deep down, we know, like, our initial thought is, not a good idea. We're like, fuck it, we're going to go anyways. Okay. You're going to learn real quick that, okay, you know what? Probably wasn't a good idea to come here to do this, to feel that, whatever. And let's just, and it's not going to have the same gratification that it used to, because basically this is bringing up our old self, the person that we were, you know, months ago, even years ago, that we have transcended. It wants to come back to really test us. You know, what are we going to be doing? Oh yeah, I've been purging a lot too. It's a chaos theory. Amen. The purging is really, really strong right now, and I'm personally feeling it's been the communication through my mind and my heart, right? It's and all these old feelings that I thought I already dealt with are coming up again, but that's okay, right? Shut the fuck up. So I always, of course, like to incorporate the white moon too, because that's one of my, you know, favorite topics in astrology. And it's trine Uranus and sesquiquadrate to Saturn and Pluto. So the sesquiquadrate to Saturn and Pluto, the white moon, that is our spiritual gift. Okay, sesquiquadrate is a past life aspect. So as we're letting go of these control issues and of these old paradigms that no longer serve us, at the same time, those spiritual gifts are coming in, and they're it's like we're getting downloaded, right? Like our superhero powers are coming in, but we don't quite understand it yet. It's in the background with the black moon. It's sort of like there's one part of the black moon energy that is like manipulative, and then there's the other side of that manipulative energy that is actually really positive. And we have to be able to differentiate, just like, again, coming back to the desire and the thirst, all right? Surrender and letting go. It's feeling all these subtle energies, and the more that we tune into it, the more that we're going to feel it. And it's that subtle feeling like, okay, all right, I just got a mushroom, like in Super Mario Brothers, you know, like we may even be like walking around. You like that mug? We may be walking around almost like feeling like high, like high on life, right? Like this higher vibration that's pumping into us it's almost feels surreal. Like, oh my goodness, everything is just amazing. Like such good things to come, and then like the other energy that can come in and, you know, slam you down. Oh my God, I'm so emotional. What the hell is wrong with me? Then we meditate. We come out of it like, you know, it's that white light that is just booming out of us, and making it happen. So, and of course, the sun and moon during this new moon is going to be trining the nodes, which is fucking beautiful. I mean, there's so much positive energy in this new moon. It's going to make all this positive energy just really start to exude out of us, as long as we're staying centered and we're being true to ourselves, and we're paying attention to the little nuances. You know, that feeling like the ball to drop feeling, we have a lot of changes coming up here in the next few months, right? And that feeling isn't going to really go away. And that's that sort of trepidation about the growth. So growth, stepping into the unknown, it's always scary, right? So we have to learn to be okay with that feeling, because the ball is not necessarily going to drop. However, we have to be ready for the unexpected, and allow that unexpected to come through. How many asteroids do you include in your normal field of study? Is that your personal tours? You know, I really did a lot of research on Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, and just recently I started getting into the White Moon. I've done some work with Vesta series, and well, I don't even remember the other two, so I don't know those very well. But I don't really resonate super deeply with those. But with Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, I found that those were the biggest energies that I struggled with for many, many years. And Chiron and Lilith, and 1, 2, right? Is that about? So Lilith and the Black Moon Lilith and White Moon Selena, they're like two sides of the same coin, but they're calculations. So every planet has a north and a south node, right? Like right now, Pluto is on its south node. Saturn is also on its south node. So these calculations identify different aspects of the energy. So Black Moon Lilith and White Moon Selena are different archetypes of the moon energy. So the moon is it's mysterious. It's our emotional self, right? It can be cloudy, right? So in that cloud, we have one side that's the darkness and one side that's the lightness. Okay, and there's a mythology that goes with both of these. Although I've heard some conflicting mythological interpretations of Black Moon Lilith. I've only heard one about the White Moon, but in contemporary times, right now, yeah, my pleasure. Message from the multiverse. Utabomb.com. So the Black Moon Lilith, it's there to teach us. It's there. It's energy from previous lives that maybe we haven't done the best about, to wake us up and to identify. And when we're lost in that energy, it's like, man, shit just goes wrong. But when we finally see it, you know, the pattern will keep happening and happening and happening until we identify it, see it, face it, dissolve it, work through it, and become the best version of ourselves. And once we go through that threshold, right now it's all about going through thresholds, right? And that threshold that we're going through right now is making us become the best version of ourselves. And if we're not willing to do that, if we're in a state of resistance, then we're going to start to experience serious problems, like disease, serious problems. All right, because these emotions, it's on another plane of understanding. This is activating our Kundalini energy, right, at such a deeper level, because all Kundalini energy is all about activating DNA as well. All right, so as that gets activated, if we have blockages, emotional, physical, spiritual, it's going to come up and it's going to blast through those blockages. And if we're not ready, if we haven't been doing the work, those blockages could kill us. Okay, I've seen it happen already many, many, many times. So we need to be doing the inner work. That's the bottom line. As long as we're doing the inner work, that's why you're seeing so many things with, you know, higher consciousness practices opening up right now. Why life coaches are everywhere. Why spiritual teachers. Why all these different plant medicines and natural homeopathic and naturopathic ways of healing are blowing up, because where people are starting to see and realize that the compartmentalized version of the patriarchal society is destroying us. It doesn't work anymore. That's part of like Pisces, like the Pisces era. We are now, you know, we started this new 26,000 year cycle into the age of Aquarius in 2012. So we're at just seconds into this new paradigm of life. And we're starting to realize that it's all good, chaos theory, no worries. We're We're starting to realize that we don't need a temple outside of ourselves to go and pray. Our temple is our body. That's what Jesus really taught, right? So we're starting to realize that we don't need, like, that we are being lied to from people that have a fundamental thought process of greed and, like, power hungry, just not good people. There's lies everywhere, and these whistleblowers are coming out because people are starting to realize, hey, if we want humanity to survive, we need to start doing the right thing. We're killing our planet and we're killing our people. Do you know that the United States has the highest mortality rate right now for children and pregnant women? That's insane. So this is the change. We need to be the change, and as we grow and heal ourselves, we affect the collective consciousness. And the more that we do that, the more that we believe in it, the more we get our word out there. People at first are going to fight it. They're going to, hate us for it. Fuck it. Who cares? It doesn't matter. We need to stay consistent, and we need to stay growing and be strong in our heart, because we really just want to, we want to heal the world. We want to make the world a better place. No more war, no more bullshit. Okay? Yes, it's genocide right now. And I was in the military for 10 years, so I saw it firsthand. I was over in Iraq, saw combat, and it's all bullshit. It's really, really sad, scary stuff. And it's like people are just robots. It's like that show, The Walking Dead. Like, people that are still stuck in the 3D reality are the Walking Dead. It's a metaphor. And no wonder why the zombie movies are so popular right now, and superhero movies, because superhero movies are the exact opposite, right? Hell yeah. So we need to wake up these Walking Dead. The key is that they're able to be woken up. We just need to prove to them that, hey, we're living this truth. We need to be powerful in our hearts. And when that heart energy gets strong enough, gets big enough in the collective consciousness, it's going to start to infect in a good way all these people. More and more people are waking up. It's a beautiful thing. Call them Sims. Yeah, it's like the show The Sims. It's scary. And even with, like, video games these days and virtual reality stuff, I mean, it's getting so realistic. People are just distracting themselves into these alternate realities because they don't want to face themselves in this reality. It's insane. This world is changing very, very quickly. And it's up to each one of us to take responsibility for our life. And that's what this energy right now is doing. It's making us take responsibility for our life. And if we don't like it, we better start to like it, right? Because the universe is like, hey, dude, shape up or ship out. Like, it's time to shit or get off the pot. Oh, whoops. All right. So, as we come into May is going to be a very transformational month. All right. With this Taurus energy, even with Uranus sitting in Taurus, all the personal planets are starting at the very beginning of the zodiac. So we're at the beginning of the zodiac represents a new start, right? Starts in Aries, then goes all the way around and completes its cycle at the end of Pisces. So right now, the personal planets are all in the beginning, and now Taurus represents self-worth. It represents the money you make. It represents being grounded. It's also the divine feminine, right? So getting in touch with our emotions, our feelings, being fixed, being grounded, all right, being honest and true to ourselves. So as these energies come in on the 6th of the 6th of May is when Mercury is going to enter Taurus, and I'm going to make a whole nother video on that. But and then soon after, Venus is going to come into Taurus. So these planets are flying, right? So the faster they go, the more energy downloads and stuff is happening with us. And so we're really going to be posed these situations that are going to challenge our self-worth. All right? Can you stand up for yourself and take responsibility and make things happen that you really want to make happen in your life? What is it that is not working in your life, and why? Right? Shit or get off the pot. Amen. Hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Studis? What does studis mean? Scoted? I do not know what you're saying, but it's okay. Still got love for you. Yes. So self-worth, self-mastery, loving yourself. You could be in a relationship, right? And it's not going so well. Why are you in this relationship? All right. Is it serving your highest good, or is there a way to turn this thing around? What can we do to change it? What we can do to grow and learn and fix it? Okay. We have to be honest with ourselves. Identify what the true desire is. All right? Identify what you really want in life. True. It is an indigenous thing. And it's so ironic, well, I'd say more synchronistic, that these all these indigenous secrets that have been around for thousands of years, that these sacred medicines and these sacred practices that work with the universe and clear our vessel, right? They're coming back in and they're healing the world. And they're showing, hey, there's a better way. There's a way out of this. There's a way to reverse this. There's a way to understand this. There are options out there. And it's sort of seeking out our belief systems, in particular our self-limiting belief systems, and making us look at them like, hey, is this what you really want? What do you really want? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that every day, in fact. Set that intention on the new moon. What do I really want? Do some automatic writing, right? Sit with yourself. Really, really look deep inside your heart. Are you in analysis paralysis? Are you overanalyzing everything? Or are you allowing yourself to feel whatever is in here and letting it teach you? They say the longest journey in life is from the head to the heart, right? We don't want to let this rule anymore. We have to let this rule. We got to let the heart shine. The heart is 100 times stronger than the mind. When the heart is leading the way, that's when we have success. That's when we have abundance. That's when we have prosperity. That's when we have love. That's when we have healthy relationships. That's when we don't work a day in our life because we're doing what we love to do, right? I agree. Think yourself, question authority. Yo, we have to question everything because really, if you do your research, we're seeing there is false information everywhere. I mean, the school systems alone, oh my God, the stuff that our kids are taught is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's almost like just complete distraction. So us as parents, we have to teach our children. We have to be there for them. We have to let them know so that they can be successful in life, as opposed to just being good at taking tests, right? Yeah. And that's why, soon with Uranus and Taurus, things are going to change. Communities are going to come together as like how they used to be in indigenous cultures, like tribes, right? You already see places like Apple and Google. They have their own little communities with work and everything, right? So that's going to be getting stronger and stronger. We're already seeing it all over the place. Currency is going to change. Like bartering is probably going to come back pretty strong because money is just losing its value. It's really, really sad. What's really valuable now is services, health. If you don't have health, then you don't have wealth. Who said what? Chaos theory. I'm just channeling. I'm just talking, so I'm not sure who said what. I'm sure many people have said everything that I'm saying before. Okay. Yeah, so barter and trade is definitely becoming strong. It's definitely going to be the new norm, but it's going to take years for a while to get it. Also, cryptocurrency is going to become very popular. And channeling, yo. So we are banding together. We need to keep this going. So also what I noticed too is that Neptune is going to be going into the 18th degree of Pisces. Now, These outer planets, they take a very long time to go from degree to degree, and these degrees represent a significant step forward in our consciousness. So I'm going to read you what the 18th degree in Pisces means as we go into it with Neptune. It says, white lilies blooming alone in the shade, gifted with deep and subtle qualities that are germinating in the subconscious and coming into their own, transported into inner worlds in order to dream, imagine, and conceive from a pure place, disengaged with phenomenal appearances, staying just apart. Much that goes on here stays under, percolates timelessly, a special karma to cultivate the mysteries to be different, yet no issue. Deep down in their creative forces work unceasingly and design alternatives for the world to partake in, if the world turns that way. So this is a very mysterious placement, and a lot of karmic stuff coming up. We're gifted with deep and subtle qualities that are germinating in the subconscious and coming into their own. So we have this percolating, that percolating energy is that feeling that the other shoe is going to drop, right? Because we don't know what it is. It's in the background. It's in the depths of our consciousness. And it's going to come up in ways that we don't understand. And that's where the surrender comes into play, because in order to be able to receive that gift, we have to surrender to it. And then all of a sudden we realize, hey, we're doing something. Oh, wow, I didn't know I could do this. It's like expanding the bubble one little degree at a time. Just transported into inner worlds in order to dream, imagine, and conceive from a pure place. So that says to me that this purity is being reinvented within us, right? Because Pisces represents the oneness of everything. It's bringing us into this world where we're able to channel, we're able to tune in to these different dimensions of thought, of feeling, of imagination, and it's purifying our soul. It's a very purifying placement. Disengaged with phenomenal appearances, staying just apart. So again, phenomenal appearances. All right, we're paying less attention to the outside and diving much deeper to the inside. And much that goes on here stays under, percolates timelessly. So this is the background, guys. This is that feeling that we want to keep trying to figure out. We want to put an identity to it, but it's not possible to do that. And so we have to, that's part of letting the ego dissolve, right? And letting our heart guide us and lead the way, because the heart is the pure place. A special karma to cultivate the mysteries to be different, yet no issue. All right. I feel like this is good karma coming in, because we've been dissolving a lot of old karma from past lives. I mean, we have basically every past life we ever lived. Right now, living in this time, is we are dissolving lifetimes of crap in hours as opposed to lifetimes. It's insane how much energy we have going through us. So finally, as we dissolve all this stuff that's been taking up space in our life, now the good stuff's coming in. But the good stuff's going to stay. It has to start in there in the background, and it'll slowly drip, like making coffee. It's going to drip into our consciousness as it can handle it, as it creates space, one little thing at a time, right? Deep down in their creative forces work unceasingly and design alternatives for the world to partake in, if the world turns that way. So this is sort of like an ebb and flow, like a seesaw, right? So as more people wake up, as more people raise their consciousness, the drip is gonna happen faster for more people, but we're gonna really have to stay detached from any outcome and surrender to the process in a very, very, very major way. All right. That's good. My thoughts on ego. Well, ego is part of who we are, and we just the significant thing about it is that for years, even centuries, we've allowed the ego to run the show, and now in this day and age, we're learning how to allow the heart to run the show and to dissolve the ego. But the ego is important. It's a part of us. It's the heart is the inspiration. The ego is the motivation, right? So when they're in line and when they're in tune, we're unstoppable. We're unfuckwithable, right? But when the ego wants one thing, the heart wants another thing, that's when chaos ensues. That's when we live in chaos theory. That's when we live in everything is just fucked up, right? So we have to ensure that, you know, like the ego is the car and the heart is the driver of the car, or the heart is the engine, whatever makes car run, right? So when we think that the ego is the driver, we're just like, you know, we're not going anywhere. We're like the Flintstones, just trying to run, and in this day and age, that ain't gonna get us nowhere, right? So we just need to make sure that the heart is in the right place, okay? And as long as the heart's in the right place, we're going to be going in the right direction. But the ego constantly wants to be in control, right? So that's where the surrender and the dissolving of all this thirst, of all this craving, and follow these true heart desires. We have to keep it in check, you know, and eventually it becomes automatic. But we have to get there first. Just like anything, when you're training a new muscle, right? If you have a postural deviation and your muscles are out of alignment, you have to put all your attention, your conscious awareness into that one muscle and focus on doing that before you do any other movement, right? Because we have to rewire that neural activity to that place to override the dysfunction, right? And so this is all about bringing that heart to front and center. And sometimes that can be painful. With all the pain that we've experienced in the past, we have to feel that pain. And that shit can be fucking tough, man. But we got to do it, because on the other side of that is everything that we want. To be emotionally fulfilled, to have a healthy relationship, to have a job or a business that we love, that we're going to flourish in. And we're going to help people. We're going to build our own community. Instead of going outside yourself, seeking and searching for other people to teach you what you already know. Deep in here is all the truth that you need. And when you follow that, it's going to probably make no sense to anybody else, but it's going to make sense to you because you're following your heart. Whenever you follow your heart, things will turn out right. It may not look like that right away because you have to go through the mud to get to the shower. That makes sense in my mind, right? So we have to stay true to our heart, and we have to keep our ego in check. But the ego is not a bad thing. The ego just belongs in a certain place, and we have to make sure that it plays its part properly. That's all. All right? Yeah. All right. I think that's it, guys. Exactly, chaos theory. Able to let go and let that same energy to flourish through us instead of for us. And that's really what channeling is, just allowing this energy to flow through and be okay with it, not think it's fucking weird, and not think that, you know, like not get insecure about it, because that can be tough. But that's why it's important to be surrounded with this kind of energy so that we can feel safe and okay with being vulnerable and bringing our true heart self out in the world. All right? So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and for supporting me. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, or go check out my website, trinityfitnessastrology.com, and leave some comments if you like. And yeah, I'll be back next week, just like every week, doing this again. And I appreciate you guys' support. Peace out, homies.